I'd been secretly depositing $1,000 every week into my parents' joint account. They thought it was from their successful investments, never questioning where the extra money came from. Meanwhile, they believed I was barely making ends meet at my boring IT job. What they didn't know was that I, James Chin, had developed a revolutionary cybersecurity system that was now protecting some of the biggest corporations in the world. My company, Shield Tech, was valued at over $800 million, but I kept my success hidden, living in a modest apartment and driving a used Honda. James, your sister Sarah just made partner at her law firm. My mother would gush during our weekly family dinners. And your brother Michael's hedge fund is doing so well. Why can't you be more ambitious like them? I'd just smile and take another bite of Mom's dumplings, letting them believe what they wanted. Every week, I'd listen to them brag about Sarah and Michael's achievements while casting disappointed glances my way. The truth was, I'd been supporting them ever since Dad's real estate business took a hit during the recession. The weekly deposits had helped them maintain their lifestyle, keep their house, and continue their country club membership. They attributed it all to Dad's brilliant investment strategies. Then came the family vacation announcement. We're all going to the Maldives. Mom exclaimed during dinner. 2 weeks at the most exclusive resort. Sarah and Michael have already confirmed they're coming. I waited for my invitation. And waited. That sounds amazing, I said finally. When are we leaving? The uncomfortable silence that followed said everything. Well, James, Dad cleared his throat, this is more of a celebration trip. For Sarah's partnership and Michael's fund performance. And you don't think I should be part of this family celebration? I asked quietly. Don't be dramatic, Mom sighed. It's just, well, what would you even talk about with everyone? Sarah and Michael will be discussing their successes, their investments. And I'd embarrass you? I finished for her. We don't want you there. Dad suddenly burst out. Is that clear enough? This trip is for successful people who've made something of themselves. I stood up slowly, my mind already formulating a plan. Crystal clear, Dad. Crystal clear. That night I made some calls. Being the creator of the world's most advanced cybersecurity system had its perks, including connections with every major financial institution. Ms. Wong. I spoke to my private banker. I need you to trace all the deposits I've made to my parents' account over the past year. And then, what happened next would teach my family an unforgettable lesson about success, appearances, and the true meaning of family. Also, I added, could you look into that resort they're planning to stay at in the Maldives? I believe it's the Royal Paradise Island Resort. Of course, Mr. Chin. Would you like me to contact our partners there? Yes, I smiled. I think it's time for a change of ownership. Little did my family know their perfect vacation was about to become a lesson in humility. The next morning my parents received 2 notifications that would shatter their perfect world. The first was from their bank, detailing every $1,000 deposit they'd received over the past year, each one traced back to me. The second was about their upcoming Maldives vacation. I watched through my home security cameras as my father checked his email over breakfast. His face went from confused to pale as he opened the first message. Honey, he called to my mother, his voice shaking. Come look at this. My mother leaned over his shoulder, her coffee cup freezing halfway to her lips. This can't be right. All those deposits. From James. $52,000 over the past year, Dad muttered, scrolling through the transaction history. But how? He's just a... His voice trailed off as he opened the second email. This one was from the Royal Paradise Island Resort in the Maldives. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Chin, we regret to inform you that your reservation for the Royal Ocean Villa has been cancelled due to a change in ownership. The resort is currently undergoing immediate renovations under its new management. Sincerely, Shield Tech Hospitality Group. My phone started buzzing immediately. First Sarah, then Michael, then both parents. I let them all go to voicemail. Instead, I focused on the live feed from my office, where my executive team was preparing for our quarterly investor meeting. On the screens behind them, Shield Tech's latest acquisition was being finalized, the Royal Paradise Island Resort, purchased through our new hospitality division for $180 million. Mr. Chin, my assistant Emily called through the intercom. Your sister Sarah is in the lobby. She's quite insistent on seeing you. I smiled, straightening my tie. Send her up. Sarah burst into my office, her designer suit slightly disheveled, very unlike her usual perfectly polished appearance. She stopped short when she saw the view from my penthouse office, her eyes widening at the sleek modern space that screamed success. What is this?" she stammered. "This," I gestured around, "is Shield Tech's headquarters. My company." "Your company?" she echoed. "But you're an IT guy." "Actually," I pulled up our company profile on the wall screen. "I'm the founder and CEO of the world's leading cybersecurity firm. Current valuation, $800 million and growing." Sarah sank into one of the leather chairs, her legal eagle composure crumbling. All this time," I confirmed, "while you and Michael were bragging about your achievements, while Mom and Dad were comparing me unfavorably to you both, I was building an empire. The deposits to Mom and Dad's account. Yes, that was me. Keeping them afloat after Dad's business troubles, though they preferred to believe it was their own financial genius at work." "And the resort?" Sarah asked, though I could see in her eyes that she already knew. "Shield Tech just acquired it. We'll be closing it for renovations, starting exactly when your family vacation was scheduled." Sarah's phone buzzed, probably Michael or our parents trying to reach her. She ignored it, staring at me with new eyes. "Why didn't you tell us?" she whispered. "Would it have mattered?" I asked. "Would you have treated me differently if you knew I was successful by your standards? Because that's not how family is supposed to work, Sarah." My sister's face flushed with shame, but before she could respond, my office door burst open again. My parents stormed in, followed by Michael and an apologetic-looking Emily. My father's face was red with a mixture of anger and embarrassment, while my mother clutched her designer handbag like a shield. "What is the meaning of this?" Dad demanded, waving his phone with the bank notification. "And what have you done to our vacation?" I leaned back in my chair, taking in the scene. My entire family, who had deemed me unworthy of their precious vacation, now stood in my multi-million-dollar office, finally seeing what had been in front of them all along. "Please have a seat," I gestured to the conference area. "We have a lot to discuss." "Discuss?" Michael scoffed, but his eyes kept darting around the office, taking in the clear signs of wealth and success. "You've been lying to us." "No," I corrected him, "I just never corrected your assumptions. You all decided I was a failure because I didn't broadcast my achievements like you do." My mother stepped forward, her social grace kicking in. "Darling, if we'd known you were so successful, of course we would have dash." "Would have what, Mom?" I cut her off. "Treated me with respect? Included me in family events? Because that's not how family should work." I pulled up Shield Tech's portfolio on the screens surrounding us. "While you were all pitying my boring IT job, I was building this. Every major bank, tech company, and government agency uses our security systems. That hedge fund you're so proud of, Michael? We protect their data. That law firm where Sarah just made partner? They're our clients too." My father sank into a chair, his bluster deflating. "The deposits. You've been supporting us?" "For the past year," I confirmed. "After your real estate venture failed, I couldn't let you lose everything. But instead of acknowledging you needed help, you created this fiction about successful investments." "But why didn't you tell us?" Sarah asked again. "Because I wanted to see if you would ever value me without knowing about my success. If you would include me in family events because I'm your son and brother, not because of my bank account." I stood up and walked to the window, looking out over the city. "Do you know what hurts the most? Not the insults, not the comparisons, but the fact that you excluded me from a family vacation because you thought I wasn't successful enough to be seen with you." We were wrong," my mother whispered, tears in her eyes. "Yes, you were," I turned back to face them. "And now you know exactly how wrong. Shield Tech isn't just my company, it's a billion-dollar empire that's growing every day. That resort you were going to stay at? I bought it because I could. Those weekly deposits that kept you afloat? That was pocket change for me." Michael, ever the financier, pulled out his phone. "Shield Tech. My God, your last quarter earnings were more than your hedge fund makes in a year," I finished for him. "But that's not the point. Money isn't everything, something our family seems to have forgotten." I pressed a button on my desk and Emily entered with a stack of folders. "These are the details of every deposit I've made to support you, Mom and Dad. Also included is information about the resort acquisition and Shield Tekka's current market position. James, my father started, but I held up my hand. I'm not finished. For years, you've treated me like I was less than you because I didn't brag about my success. You've excluded me, belittled me, and made me feel like I wasn't good enough to be part of this family. Today that changes. I distributed the folders. Inside you'll also find information about a family therapy session I've scheduled for next week. If you want to maintain any relationship with me moving forward, attendance is mandatory. Family therapy? My mother looked scandalized. But what will people think? That's exactly the problem, Mom. Always worried about appearances, never about actual relationships. I walked to my office door, signaling that the meeting was over. You have a choice to make. You can either accept that your definitions of success and family need to change, or you can continue as you are without my support and without me in your lives. As they filed out looking shell-shocked, Sarah paused. The vacation, is it really cancelled? The resort is closed for renovations, I confirmed. But I have a better idea. And only if the therapy sessions go well, maybe we can plan a real family vacation. One where everyone is included because they're family, not because of their bank accounts. My father stopped at the door. I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything, Dad. You all just need to do better. And maybe remember that success isn't always obvious and family shouldn't be conditional. After they left, Emily brought in my afternoon coffee. That was quite a show, Mr. Chin. Sometimes, I said, looking at the family photo on my desk from happier times, people need to lose everything to understand what really matters. 3 months later, after intensive family therapy and numerous honest conversations, we did take that family vacation. Not to a luxury resort, but to a simple beach house where we spent time actually talking, listening, and rebuilding our relationships. My parents never fully recovered from the shock of discovering my success, but more importantly, they learned that their values had been skewed. Michael stopped broadcasting his achievements at every family dinner. Sarah began mentoring young lawyers instead of just chasing partner status. Me. I finally felt free to be myself, not the unsuccessful son, not the secret billionaire, just James Chin, a person worthy of love and respect regardless of his bank account. Because sometimes the biggest success isn't in building a business empire, it's in rebuilding a family that had lost its way.